EmzUnfiltered. Authentic, credible, genuine. With Emma Brain.
So welcome to another episode of EmzUnfiltered, and I've come to catch up with my wonderful friend Nida here, who is an actress and amazing talent and performer, and she's also got her own skincare range as well. Nida, thanks for having me today. It's wonderful to see you as always.
It's a pleasure.
Sorry, you can keep laughing away. She's laughing because we've tried to record. This is where we get unfiltered. We've tried to record this episode several times already, and it's been a comedy of errors and a comedy of technical errors, and things have gone wrong. So we're trying. Third time lucky.
Yes, hopefully. I was telling Emma, you have my entire life history memorized. But
do you want to leave and I'll just talk about you? It's fine.
Exactly. I'll just go. Or you can have like a picture of me and then just talk about it yourself.
But let's start at the beginning about the acting. How did you get into acting?
Okay. I think some part of me has always wanted to be in front of the camera in some way or form.
Yeah.
But the actual, I think, like the kick you get up here, but that came when I was watching a really terrible movie with my friends in the theater, and I was just looking at the actress in the screen thinking, you know what, I could do a better job than her. Ooh. But that was a long time ago, and from then until now, still struggling actually to get to that point. Alhamdulillah, I've been fortunate enough that I do get work. It's not as regular as I would want it to be, but how this industry is. So we're working towards it. But the end goal is hopefully to see myself on that big theater.
On the big screen.
On the big screen, walk cinemas.
It will be amazing. It will be, look, it's the toughest industry to get into.
Oh, yes.
We say statistically 1% of people worldwide in this industry actually get to make a living.
The living that we see on social media, the luxury.
Look, I came from the UK where I was an equity member and things are done, everything's done by the book. It's very tough. You never want to be on the wrong side of equity, ever. Because then you're done. Your career is basically done. We do say the industry here in the UAE is a little bit like the wild, wild west. There are some amazing people to work with, and there's some things that don't happen so well. Things with like contracts and payment terms. I think the biggest bugbear is getting paid on time.
Paid on time and getting paid fairly. I wouldn't even say, it's very rare, and you're going to agree with this, that you get paid something that surprises you in a positive way. Usually it's on the other side of the spectrum where you're barely making ends meet. And I really want to clarify this today because I get a lot of DMs from people asking me, how do you become an actor? And so I do help them out to the best of my ability, but in return I've gotten some pretty nasty comments saying that, I applied for a job and I got rejected, or this was not the payment that I was expecting. So they think that I'm giving them the wrong information, but that's not the wrong information. That is the right information. Unfortunately, the pay scale for actors and models here, there's no set pay scale. It varies greatly. You're gonna go find anywhere from jobs for 150 dirhams all the way up to 2-3 if you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think one of the things that basically we're talking about there is managing people's expectations of what they can get. It's not like we're allowed a union in the UAE. Elsewhere you'd have union rates, non-union rates, half-day rates, full-day rates. And it's all done by the book here. And the problem, I think one of the problems we have here, people are so desperate for the work. They will literally just take anything, and they don't do themselves or anyone else any favors for that.
And I think one of the reasons for that is because there's kind of like a whole charm associated with the industry, and for a lot of people, the newcomers especially, just the idea of seeing themselves on the screen for a particular brand, that for them is enough. But they don't realize that by doing that, they're undermining the efforts of the professional people in this industry, because obviously if you're going to get that people available to do the job for like pennies on the dollar, why would you hire somebody who's experienced and is then commanding a rate that, matches their experience? So it's hard. It's not an easy profession to be in, and for those that want to join the profession, I think they really need to look past the glitter and the fakeness that you see on social media.
Yeah.
That's there, obviously, that's there.
I mean, look, half the time you spend sitting around. You're literally being paid to sit on your backside doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of director friends, and this is coming from their mouths, this is not me, this is what they say. They've said the hardest people to work with are the model actors.
Right.
And they're like, a shoot takes 3 times as long because they're not actors.
And I'll tell you why. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, and I'll tell you why I've noticed this is that the job of a model is to look pretty. Okay, they're supposed to, display whatever that they're promoting and themselves look a certain way. But as an actor, your job is to emote.
Yeah.
And let's suppose if it's crying, how many people do you know that actually look good when they're crying? You don't. You're like, whatever.
Ugly
crying. There's a reason why they came up with that. So I've seen that models cannot let go of that image in their head where they're supposed to be this certain way, and then that's why they cannot give the right expressions.
And I was on a movie shoot a couple of years ago, and they had all these model stroke dancers come in, and they put them all through hair and makeup. Obviously, director production had the look they wanted, so they did all their hair and makeup for the look for the shoot. They all left hair and makeup, went and sat down, pulled out their bags, pulled out these huge boxes and bags of makeup, took it all off and redid it themselves. And the director he was like, "What the hell are you doing? Yeah. You've just ruined 3 hours of hair and makeup work for the look that this is not what I want."
Yeah.
Again, it's not understanding the process and the vision. It's the director and the producers and the client's vision. You don't mess with that. If they want you to look ugly on a shoot, you're gonna look ugly on a shoot.
Yeah, but then that's, again, it comes down to the casting agent, and it comes down to a lot of the client, who are willing to sacrifice actual acting ability in favor of the look of a person. So you can't have both. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, particularly when the roles become few and far between. For me, there's not many roles, unfortunately, for people my age, which is why I lie about my age all the time.
Oh, please. So much
I
of stuff.
And it's frustrating, and I've actually hauled a couple of casting agents up. I said, "Can you please stop putting 40 to 50-year-old old people on your casting?"
Yeah.
I'm like, over 65 is considered old age, not 40 to 50. 40 to 50 is middle age these days.
Actually, no age is old. I think it's basically how you perceive yourself.
Yeah.
You can be old at 20, if that's your mindset. But yeah, this is one of the professions which is very, very heavily influenced by the ageist mentality, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially for women.
Yes, unfortunately, but it is getting better. There are more roles for more, let's say, mature women these days. I mean, look at Meryl Streep, Helen Mirren. They're killing it, and all that kind of stuff. They're doing amazing things still, but the market here is still very young. It's still a very immature industry, and it hasn't learnt yet how to do these things. So it is getting better. And I always say to people, look, it's really, really hard. And if the opportunities aren't coming up for you, make your own. Get together with people, write short projects, write short movies, write roles for yourself, produce it. But you've got to know where it's going, because half the people, they come up with these projects and they haven't thought, where am I putting it afterwards?
No, that's absolutely true, and a lot of good projects have suffered that fate where they have just faded into oblivion because there was not a proper marketing strategy in place, there was not a proper distribution strategy in place, which brings us to another important point, which was creating content. So there are 2 ways to create content. You can just do it for your own social media, or as Emma and I were discussing earlier, that you bring together a group of like-minded creative people and you make films, and you make features or web series or stuff. But then again, we run into the biggest block, which is funding, adequate funding. So I think one of the things that this region needs to provide for talent and for actors, for filmmakers, and not just young filmmakers, not just people who've just graduated from film school, but people who have experience of working in the industry, not finding opportunities for themselves, wanting to create content. There should be grants, there should be Kickstarter,
crowdfunding.
So, you know, and I know that the industry, the film industry, the media industry is still growing over here.
Yeah.
But if you have these kind of opportunities, then you're going to find that there's no shortage of talent in this region.
There's so much talent here. It's mind blowing. And I had another friend sent me. She's a brilliant script writer. She sent me a script to have a look at, and she does a lot of comedy, because comedy, people aren't doing comedy here. I love comedy.
Yeah.
I'd give anything to be in a comedy something. And I read it, and I laughed throughout the whole thing. And I was like, can you please make the main character 10 years older so I could play that person?
We can make you 10 years younger. We have VFX artists here. We can do that.
I was like, but people are doing it. They're doing it. But again, she brought up the point, when people are making their projects, they're not thinking about who am I making it for? What platform am I making it for? And it doesn't have to be, Netflix is not the be all and end all these days.
There's so many other platforms.
Yeah, Amazon Prime, Disney, but even YouTube. YouTube is a great starting place for shorts.
Just again, for YouTube, it's not just about, you know, uploading and that's it. You have to have like a proper strategy in place of how you're going to get it out so that maximum people can see it.
Yeah.
And of course, film festivals are a great way to go.
More of this,
exactly.
More showcases, more opportunities, where you can get people high up in the industry to come and see the talent that's there.
Yeah, there's so many film festivals for indie films, you know, in the US, and I feel like we just have one.
Yeah.
Literally just one here.
But I've got to say, the short films that are being made here, they're doing very, very well on the festival circuit. Very, very well. Yeah. They're getting nominated, they're getting shortlisted, they're winning awards, and they are getting international recognition, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And which brings me back to another point that we were talking about earlier, is keep posting stuff on social media, because you never know who's gonna see you. I've had roles written for me from social media. I've been picked for roles from social media, getting a bit bored of the doctor, mum, murderous psychologist roles.
I still have to. I'm still open for murder, anything, you know.
But anything.
I would love to be. Just a big knife.
But it's an amazing thing, because some people that have been following me for quite a while from the US, they're working on pre-production for a project right now, so they're kind of building their cast. And they approached me and said, we've got this character in mind, we think you'd be really awesome. Are you interested? I was like, hello, where do I sign?
Okay, bye-bye, Emma. Anybody who wants an autograph or a selfie, take it now, because this lady's going places.
But it's you know, pre-production is how long is a piece of string? It could be years.
At least you got into it. You know, it got started for you. Yeah.
So we'll see that. So where do you want to get to, Nida? Where is the goal for you? I mean, it's super fun being able to play a character, right? But where do you want to take it?
I want to go where every actor wants to go, you know, which is, well, now that we're being frank, I want to see that star, the Hollywood Walk of Fame star with Nida Shahzad on it someday, maybe. I mean, it's a big aim, but you never know. There's no limit to your dreams, so you can dream as much as you want.
If you what was it Walt Disney said? If you can dream it, you can make it happen. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to do it. So, but moving on from the acting and the production side of things, you have this amazing skincare range, Butter Rose Botanicals, which is all handmade. You make it yourself. How did you get into that?
Again, like Emma knows me by now, and everything in my life comes to me after a lot of struggle. Nothing is ever, I feel like, given to me on a platter, which I think is both good and bad.
Yeah.
So same thing with skincare. My skin took a really disastrous turn when I moved to the UAE from California, because the weathers were two different extremes. So I got eczema, I got adult acne, among other things, and I was just very unhappy, because I'm somebody who's always believed in the natural look. I never I avoid makeup. Well, obviously right now I'm in makeup because of the job, but usually I avoid makeup. And I always wanted to have, like, you know, even for the brand, the idea was that women feel comfortable in their natural skin.
Yeah.
So I tried and tested a lot of existing big brands on the market. Unfortunately, none of them lived up to their claims. It was a lot of money, you know, and it's not just for women. Yeah. It's not just money. It's emotional investment also, you know. It's seeing your face in the mirror day after day when you're obsessed with treating something on your face and not seeing
Absolutely.
any improvement. So after that, I decided, you know what, I would rather put my money into making my own skincare, because I realized that that was an option. But I didn't want to do it the kitchen DIYs, you know, like you take some flour or water or whatever, milk, and mix it. That was not what I had in mind. I actually wanted to do a proper, stable skincare. At that point, I didn't want to sell it. It was just for me, myself. So I enrolled in a skincare formulation course. I finished that. It took me 2 years. And then, sorry about that. Oh, and then once I did that, I tried the product on myself, on my friends and my family. And after a lot of tweaks, I came up with what you used for me.
And it is fantastic, and I love it. And you know when something's really, really good, and I gave it a good test run.
Yeah,
I always
absolutely.
use something for several weeks before I do a review, because it's important. You can't just pick something up or get given something and go, I tried this, it's amazing, yay.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. But the fact that people were saying to me that my skin looked amazing and it was really glowy and fantastic was a testament to how good it was.
I'm delighted, and it's one of the reasons why I reached out to Emma, because of her refreshing honesty. And I could have gone with somebody else who would have just given me like what I wanted them. And
Yeah.
I told you I had that experience where the person was like, you know, tell me what you want me to say and I'll say it. And I was like, I don't want that, you know, I don't want to start off my brand with, you know, fake reviews.
Yeah.
That's not how.
And it doesn't do you any favors
No.
either. And it doesn't do you any favors when you're starting out and you need constructive feedback
Exactly.
to perfect the product.
Perfect the product, exactly. So the product already has been through several rounds of of tweaks based on the feedback I got from, you know, friends, family, and people that I gave the product out to. So the goal obviously is to hopefully see it in stores. I went to Sephora yesterday to get something for myself, and I was looking at all of the different, you know, the brands with their displays, and I was like, I want to see my brand there.
That'd be amazing.
I am aiming very high, aren't I?
But again, you've got to put it out there, because if you don't, you can't. I don't think these days you can think small.
No.
You can't think small. You have to say, that's the goal. How am I gonna get there? Now, if only I'd take my own advice.
I think that's the thing we all say. Why don't we take our own advice?
I'm
give
really
so many
good at
people-
giving it.
Yeah.
Hopeless at implementing it myself.
You know, there was a time when I used to do stories on my Instagram, and at one point I thought I should start a column or a weekly podcast with Auntie Nida, because people were asking me so many questions, and it's astounding, you know, that and it's also humbling.
Yeah.
That they think that you have that wealth of knowledge and experience and expertise that you can actually advise other people. I don't. Whatever I learn is through my own struggles, through on the job basically. And this is how I learned to be an actor, is through, you know, directors giving me directions and pointing out my mistakes and watching my own self and cringing in the initial days, like, oh my God, what is she doing? Like, what are you doing? You could, and then that's how I learned. Because here in Dubai, you don't really have a proper actors, like, you know, proper workshop where you can learn techniques.
Yeah.
So
I mean, people are doing them, but I feel there needs to be more. There always needs to be.
I think it's
more.
for very beginning actors. There's
Yeah.
nothing for working actors, how they can build on their expertise. It's just for people, like we said, that are just coming off and realizing, oh, I want to be an actor. So
Yeah.
it's good for them, but I think we need something a bit
See,
more.
you've got a brilliant captive target audience there for your skincare range. Make yourself look beautiful on screen.
Oh yes! I can play on
Marketing ploy.
I can play on the insecurities of every actor, including myself.
Looking rough on screen. Let's fix that with Butter Rose Botanicals.
Oh,
there
yeah,
you go.
look-
There's your marketing. Damn, I should go into marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Look 10 years younger. If you want to play a role and you're not looking the age, use this. Use 10 years younger, and then
Who needs
apply.
Botox? Use this.
Actually, there is an ingredient in the products that's called hibiscus roselle, and it's called nature's Botox.
It's smoothing. I was reading that's in the cream
Yeah.
that you gave me, and
Yeah.
it is fantastic. It does really, really help.
Eventually, you will cut back on
Yeah,
your
on the Botox.
On the Botox.
I'm not ashamed to say that I do things, but you know, with the whole acting thing, I don't freeze my face, obviously,
Yeah,
because
no.
otherwise that would be bad. It would be bad. It's like you don't want to be there. Can you look angry? Yep, this is me looking angry. Can you be happy? Yep, this is me looking happy. Can
Yeah.
you be sad?
Surprise.
Yep, this is me looking happy. Yeah, I'm
Emma,
surprised.
give me the
I
4
promise.
reactions that they always ask: anger, surprise.
Yeah, I'm doing it all. Nothing's happening.
And we've seen so many of these. You know, it's funny. And then they're asking like, have you done something to your face? No, it's all natural.
I promise.
I cannot be angry, you know. Oh my God. We could do like a whole, I think a yearly podcast on the behind the scenes and exactly what we think about acting. It's a never ending topic.
Yeah, the behind the scenes dramas.
Every shoot, I want to come home and I want to just turn the camera on and just rant, you know, but I don't.
You can't, and you can't, because, you know, people have to find their own way, and they have to do their own thing.
You and I can talk about it, you know, as long as we want, but the fact of the matter is that people don't want to hear the reality. They don't want to hear the hard work or the struggles.
But we do a disservice if we sugarcoated it. Yeah. Because otherwise, when you get to a set and then you run into problems, whatever. I mean, look, like, don't get me wrong. I've been on the set of some incredibly professional productions here, where everyone from the top to the bottom, to the cast, to the crew, every single person involved was phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Consummate professionals, did their job. It was amazing to be part of it. Those are the jobs you dream for, because they're amazing.
Like, when you come back from such a job,
it's amazing.
You are on such a high because you're like, oh my God, like work can be like this, you know?
And they're an amazing piece of teamwork. And then when you see the final production,
you're proud to be a part of that.
Absolutely. Whereas others, you've left it and you've gone, well, you know, that's going to be horrendous when it's finished. I don't even want to see it.
Oh my God. I have had days where I've literally had a 15-hour shift and I've sat in my car and I just burst into tears and I'm like, why am I doing this? Because it was that hard.
Yeah.
But you don't get to see that because we don't post that. You just get to see the final product where I'm all glammed up and doing whatever they're asking me to do, and you're like, I want to be that. Yeah. But you didn't see the breakdown in the car, you know, like later on. But
or you spend all day and then you're literally on screen for 2 seconds. Or you don't even make the cut. You don't even make the cut. Absolutely. How many rolls do you take and you end up on the cutting room floor? Because that's the reality.
Yeah.
You can get cut in the final edit. They'll go, yeah, we don't actually need that. Let's just ditch it. So,
and that's after like a full day of work, when you've put in your best effort, and when thing comes out, you're like, and I've had it like the casting agent sharing whatever the commercial, and I'm like,
where am I? What happened? I had one the other day actually. Someone sent me, oh yeah, we shot this thing last year, and I was like, blink and you miss me.
Yeah, right. No, I wasn't even there, and I was the featured. I was like, this was supposed to be me, and there's somebody else here. The client went with a different actor, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's just, it is what it is. There's a reason they call it the entertainment industry.
Yeah, you're constantly entertained
by everything.
Everything. Yes, absolutely.
But we could sit and talk about this all day, but we won't. Maybe we do need to do a series focusing on different aspects. But I can't wait to see what you do next on the acting front and with your skincare range. I love your skincare range. I want to help you with that as well, because it's amazing. I want to see it out there. I want to see it because you deserve every success with that, because it's incredible. So make sure you go and check it out. Thank you, Nida, for being part of my little YouTube channel.
As always, Emma.
And that's it for another episode of EmzUnfiltered, and we'll see what we get up to next time. See ya.